What's going on, gamers? DBM Gamer here, and today I want to talk about the Cabal. If you've watched any trailers or footage or seen any screenshots straight from Bungie themselves, they're showing quite a few little tidbits if you know where to look and how to look for them. So in my typical fashion, I kind of just tore through as much imagery as I possibly could to give you guys a good outset look as to what the Cabal has. Kind of a rogues gallery, just like my Fallen one that I did for my last video. But before I can get into any of that, I've got to get to my shoutouts. I've got to show appreciation back to the community that has gotten me this far. So I want to give shoutouts to Jeremy Gregory, 321Go, and the Meowster Chief, great name, for dropping the subscription. And I also want to give a special shout out to Les Tom 1 for just saying that he really liked the last video that I made. Now, the first possible mentioning of the Cabal is actually in the tower. It's kind of surprising, but that's the truth of the matter. When you went to the Weapon Master, if you just stood around him long enough, he would randomly say stuff like, "Say what you like about the Cabal. They know their guns." And I told him it wouldn't stop a Cabal. Some men never listen. Now, basing on his second statement, I told him that it wouldn't stop a Cabal. That right there is kind of a bit of a giveaway that the Cabal are pretty decent in size. Well, guys, I want you to have a look at this. This is actually what the Cabal look like without a mask. Yeah, that's a face that only a mama could love. The Cabal have one of the uglier mugs that I've seen in Destiny. I don't know, maybe next to a hive ogre. They're pretty rough looking. They have the cleft upper lip, which is kind of the dead giveaway, and they kind of have jaggy looking teeth. Now, the only footage that we've seen of the Cabal shows them on Mars, so it seems like this is the only place in our solar system that they're at this moment. And straight from Bungie, one of the areas that they inhabit is called the Exclusion Zone. This is a picture of what it looks like, and I just happened to notice right on the front frickin' door, man, right there it sits, a green and yellow crest. So I've got to assume that that's kind of the crest symbol, at least of the Cabal that occupy this area. This point was further hit home with a lot of the Cabal footage and imagery that I was seeing with them being in green armor. But it didn't stop there. Actually, after looking through a lot of pictures and a lot of videos, I've seen several different other Cabal colors. I've also seen Cabals in red highlights. I've seen Cabal in blue highlights. So I don't know if that means that, like the Fallen, they have there are multiple different houses of that. I don't know. Bungie's not really leaked any of that story. They've kind of done a good job on keeping the wraps on that. In an interview with Eurogamer.net, Bungie themselves remarked that the Sand Eaters that sit outside of the Exclusion Zone, which is what I think the green marked Cabal are, they refer to the Cabal in that area as Legionnaires and Centurions. They also went on to say that the Cabal may be called the Roman Empire from space. So it seems like they're going with kind of a Roman theme for the Cabal. So that's just kind of what we're going to continue on with. Now, the Legionnaire are considered the frontline soldiers of the Cabal. These are the ones that you see or will see running around with no shields, just a basic gun. This is going to be your basic grunt foot soldier, it seems, kind of like the Dreg. Now, as far as the Centurion, straight from Bungie themselves, the Centurion are said to be tougher than the Legionnaires and can stay mobile on the battlefield thanks to portable jump jets. Now, based off of what he says there, I kind of noticed this footage of this Centurion kind of just bounding into the screen, and I was like, I wonder if this is considered a Centurion. So I went and checked some pictures of what did a real Roman Centurion look like, and this is the imagery I got. Notice the bristles on the back? Yeah, I'd say it's a safe bet that this is the Centurion, guys. Now, there's also another class of sort of grunt type Cabal, and those are being referred to as the Phalanx. The Phalanx is actually a Greek formation of shield. If you watch the movie 300, this is something actually the Spartans were very well known for. So bearing that in mind, looking at some of the early footage, and actually this is from my my own video, The New Era, you see several Phalanx going down. But this isn't the only imagery that I had. I also have another image of the Legionnaire and the Phalanx kind of working together, and then once again with green markings, so I've got to think that these are the ones outside of the exclusion zone. Now another class of Cabal, and a really oversized version of it, is the jacked up Gladiator. The Gladiator is probably the scariest looking of all of the Cabals. This guy looks like he's about 3 times your size, walking around with a Gatling gun from hell. Bungie's kind of leaked a little bit of the footage, so you can see that you'll actually fight off one of these gladiators, and he's got some Phalanx grunts mixed in protecting him. Now, as I said, I've seen gladiators with several different markings, some red, some blue. I even got this one image of one with a cape on. I don't know if that's going to be a standard issue of gladiators or not. It's hard to say. Like I said, the footage that you can find and the imagery you can find of this is pretty limited. But it turns out that gladiators may not actually be the top of the food chain. Earlier this week at Gamescom, Bungie went on stage and said that in the Sony exclusive strike mission available for PlayStation, that you would fight a trio of Scion Flares. And it turns out that the Scion Flares looked like they would be fairly small. And I've got a very, very early sketch drawing of what the Scions were going to look like. And they morphed from that to this. You can get a kind of a sense of scale as that they're actually fairly small. They're probably shorter than your average Guardian. Now, though the Scion look really small, in an early interview with Bungie, a Game Informer in January kind of got it out of them that Scion, even though they're being small, they serve as the pilots and the drivers for the Cabal vehicles and harness mental powers to confront their enemies. So what does that mean for combat? God knows what. These things could be like zipping all around the map for all I know. Well, suffice to say, I am looking forward to this strike mission. Well, that's about all I've got, guys. That's about as much truth as I could dig out. No, wrong truth. Ugh. Alright guys, well if you enjoy this type of content, just feel free to drop a like or a comment. Or if you just want to see more, hit the subscribe button. But as always guys, have a good one.